it. He said, I don't know what they did. I'm sure they told people. That's funny. When Jesus tells us not to say something, we tell people, and he says, please tell someone we don't. Go share the gospel. Don't tell anyone. Guess what happened to my kid? You know, my kid was dead or yours. No, anyway. They told. How do you know they told? Because we were reading it right here. They told. They told. They could not tell. But why did Jesus say don't? He was gaining such popularity. He had such crowds, and they would get worse. And they did. He knew it was going to happen. It was good enough for them. You know, just if you tell other people right now, and it did, it got worse for him. He had to move out of town, live outside for a little bit on the outskirts just so he can have some sanity and time alone. You start making dead people alive, you got a whole line of people. Because every single day, guess what I read in the paper? Obituaries. Every single day, people die. And if you start finding out people can bring them back to life, that's a whole nother level. But he asked them not to tell him what happened. They did. But I come back to Jairus and this whole thing of Christ's faith. And what is he even teaching his disciples in fishing for men? That even when it seems impossible, you have to trust God for your situation. You have to. He's the only one who can do something about it. There's no one else. There's no one else who can do something about some of your... Listen, some of the situations you find yourself, you think there's no hope, there's no way out, it's not going to work, and it's as good as dead. I know what you're thinking. But Jesus said, I don't want you to be afraid about it, I just want you to believe. I want you to put your faith in me. I want you to stop listening to what everyone else is telling you. I want you to start listening to me. And when you start putting your faith in Jesus Christ and start listening to Him and stop listening to other people, I think that's when things can start changing in our life. And to be a part of that and watch God work and have a testimony afterwards. I remember my sister, I was the first one in my family born again. And then not too long after I got saved, something happened. My sister was out. She was shot in the back on her heart side, and the bullet came out the front. And she was not saved. She was not a believer. My dad called me. It was those three. I hate 3 o'clock morning phone calls, don't you? It was between 2:30, 3 o'clock, somewhere in there. And all I heard was, your sister shot. And we don't know if she's going to live or die. I'm going to the hospital. I was dressed right away, lived right down the street from my dad, and we got in and we drove to the hospital. By the time we drove to the hospital, it was really not a short amount. It was really in a quick time. They had already life-flighted her to Iola, Chicago. And we drove all the way to Chicago, and I'm praying the whole time, please, God, don't let her die, don't let her die, don't let her die, don't let her die. I knew that if my sister died, I knew she would be separated from Christ for all eternity. I knew that. But when you're told, listen, she got shot on the heart side and her back, it came out the front. That's not a lot to hang your head on, So we get there and we're praying, and they came out and they said, listen, all I can tell you, it doesn't look good. She's lost a lot of blood, and we don't know all the damage yet. And we just kept praying. We kept praying. And I remember we didn't have cell phones back then, so I went and found a payphone, and the person that led me to Christ was John Pennington. And that's the only person I could think. That all my family's not saved. I can't have them pray for me. I woke him up out of his sleep and said, listen, could you please pray for my sister? She's been shot. I don't know if she can live or die. She doesn't know Jesus is her Savior. If she dies, I know where she's going to go. And I remember he prayed for me. I don't remember what the prayer was. I just remember he prayed with me, and I hung up the phone, and I went to go join my family back in the waiting room. That's when I knew it was going to be okay. I didn't know what God was doing at that point. But listen, I'm there. I can barely see through my eyes because I'm crying. And the chaplain comes in. And I look up and I see his name tag. It was blue name tag with white letters etched in it. And it said, Father John Pennington. And I knew that God was in control. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I knew that God was completely in control. I just called a John Penn to pray with me, and God sent one in person to pray with me. How he worked all that out, I don't know. But I knew in my spirit at that point, I wasn't afraid anymore. I just knew that it was okay. It was in his hands. It was okay. Now, she ended up living, and she accepted Christ as her Savior later on. And the doctors came out and they said, listen, we don't know what to tell you. It came in the back. It missed her ribs. It went through her lung. It went over her heart and under the main artery. She said, there's very little room right there. But the bullet had to have eyes because it missed everything and came out the front. It punctured her lung, but she said if it had hit a rib, it would have shut shrapnel. She'd have died. If it had nicked one of those or hit her heart, she would have died. It went through her and came out, and the only thing she had was a punctured lung. So we just give God all the glory. But it's those times where your faith is tested, are you going to trust and believe in God uncompletely, or are you going to listen to what everyone else says to you? I would hope that you'd say, well, I'm going to trust in God. Giving up is easy. Can I tell you, giving up is so easy? Anyone can do it. To keep your faith in God no matter what, that's hard. That's hard. But you know what? The people who see God work in life are the ones who don't give up. And somewhere in Scriptures, I read a verse that we're more than overcomers. You know what more than overcomer means? We don't give up. You keep overcoming. Why? Because you have a God who's got your back. That's why. And you don't give up. You keep fighting. You keep believing. And God will show up. He'll never be late. Now listen, he's not early a lot either. I'm just going to tell you that. But he's not going to leave you. He's not going to forsake you. And it's going to be okay if you trust him. I promise you. It's going to be okay.